stage right now, my very good friend Amber Setter.
Woo! What an honor, what a delight, and I am just so happy that what COVID has created is an opportunity for us to stop and do some soul searching and to actually really think about people and think about what we want out of our lives. So I am grateful for that. As Greg shared, this is quite the moment for me. It's a first that I've been on the stage with one of my past clients. And when Greg originally hired me, he was looking for a people-focused partner, someone that could help him go from where he was in that moment to where he wanted to become next. Now, at the time, Greg was working as an accountant, and he had a wild idea to bring his love for stand-up comedy to the accounting profession. So he reached out to me, and he said, I have this idea. You know how there's like comedy traffic school that people have to sit through, and it's really boring and dry, but you could do comedy, and it's have fun and a good time? I want to do the same thing for CPE. And I loved it. Not only I loved it because I've sat through a lot of boring CPE in my life, but I loved it because anytime someone comes with a wild idea, me as coach, I really lean into that conversation. Because those are the little things, those little gems inside of us that are pure possibility. Now, gauging by all the laughter and smile we've experienced today, I believe it's safe to say that Greg became what's next. He created a new reality. He became the highest expression of himself. He likely feels much happier, and he's given us all something to smile about. So please give it up, give some love in the chat to Mr. Greg Kite for becoming what's next.
Turn down for what? Turn down for what?
Wow, I even get Little John. This really is a dream come true for me. All right. So like Greg, I've had my own dreams for my own life. First, I wanted to become an accountant. Then I wanted to become a CPA. And then I wanted to become a professional certified coach. And my journey to coaching started with this little whisper that started inside of me. And it said, be a CPA who works with hearts and not numbers. What? Be a CPA who works with hearts and not numbers? What does that even mean? So rather than tell you what it means, I'm going to provide you all with the experience of professional coaching and invite you to get out of your head and instead drop into your heart. You see, many accountants build their brand and their sense of self-worth on expertise. The more one knows, the more valuable they believe they are. Yet the unknown is a place of pure potential. It's where all possibilities exist. When we allow ourselves to not know, and we put our expertise just up on the shelf, and I say just up on the shelf because all of you are addicted to your expertise, so no, it's like your security blanket. You could go back to it when you need it. But when we put it on the shelf, we can get curious. And in this magical place of curiosity, whether you're sitting with a client or you're sitting with a team member, you can discover greater value to deliver, new possibilities for overcoming the complex challenges we've all been faced with, and just have a moment to slow down and reconnect to our own self and to our purpose. In the next economy, your clients need much more than an accountant. They need a people-focused advisor. To become what's next and help your clients do the same, one needs to get out of their head and explore matters of the heart. And this professional coaching approach will really have you lean into your inner knowing and dream up what's next for your life and for your practice. So for my aim for the conversation is twofold today. One, I'm going to provide you with the experience of coaching, where you're going to have a chance to uncover your own wild ideas and dream up what's next for your business and for your life. Second, I'm a teacher at heart, so not only am I going to take you through a coaching experience, I'm going to teach you a coaching model so that when you leave today, you can take others through these coaching questions and be a more people-focused advisor. Let's look at the framework. The 3 levels of reality is a metaphor that depicts how things manifest from the quantum into everyday reality. And at the outset, this might sound a little bit odd because what accountants do is they tend to dwell in their heads. Most of the accounting work that is done is at one level in the head, or what we call concrete reality. Measurable facts, reasonableness, and expertise all feel safer and more valuable than matters of the heart, or those wild instinctual ideas that come up and we're like, ugh, I don't know how to do that. There's no procedural checklist to teach me that one. I'm going to pretend it's not there. But those little whispers, they never go away. I've tried. They don't go away. So, the 3 levels. This model includes our gut and our intuition, our heart or the dreaming level, and our head, our concrete level. And again, everything in the model suggests that we start off in the quantum of pure possibility, we move into the dreaming level of thinking about what we really want to become, and then finally it manifests out as an outward expression into concrete reality. Now, some of you might be thinking in your minds, this sounds a little esoteric, she's a little woo-woo, is she gonna suggest I hug a tree next? Maybe, I might, but that'll be another day. But in all seriousness, I can assure you that these things do apply to your practice. Let's have a look. So imagine you're hiring for a position. There you are, screening all the resumes that come in. Screening, looking, and suddenly you get a hit. There's a signal, there's a cue. Something's telling you that maybe this resume is a little bit different. Maybe you should hone in a little bit more and investigate whatever this thing is that you're feeling. What you notice is you're receiving a signal. So the signal's telling you that there's a reason to pay more attention. And when your attention is caught, it could mean anything. The essence level, again, is the place of pure potential, pure possibility. And as you begin to explore the signal of the cue, you start to assign meaning to it, right? So imagine in this scenario, you see on this resume, oh, they went to the same college that I went to. They must be smart if they went there. All the smart people went there. And you see this potential for a good fit. And when you've done that and you start imagining that they're a good fit, you have entered into the next level of reality, which is called the dreaming level. The dreaming level is all about collaborative and interactive nature of the world. What we look for influences what we find. Our hopes, our world becomes shaped by our hopes and our fears, our experiences, our expectations, and our projections. And from the moment that the resume evokes something in you, you began to dream. The words on the resume are signaling perhaps that they have the background, the skills, and the expertise that your organization needs. You start to imagine that they could take on work that you want them to do. Ooh, I can delegate this project. That's going to make my life easier. I can sleep more. You're feeling good, right? And imagine you continue that you then conduct a phone interview. And on the call, you really feel that there's a good energy exchange, that they're going to be a good fit. So you might even after that call enroll other people in your organization into the dream, the feeling that you have. But maybe your colleague says, I don't know, we hired someone from that school before and they weren't very smart, right? That person has what we call a low dream, a fear. That's a different side of the dream that we're going to get to in a minute. Just for a moment, look inside yourself. How many imaginary conversations have you had in your own head? How many scenarios have you played out in your mind? We are constantly creating ourselves, and we're constantly dreaming others up. And I want to say that again because it's so key to as you think about and become what is next, that you're constantly creating yourself and you're constantly dreaming other people up. Now let's move to the next level. So once something has arisen out of the essence level and is shaped by the dreaming level, it goes into concrete reality. It manifests into something that we can see. It's concrete because we can all see it. This level of reality is solid, practical, and has a measurable level of facts. Sounds like accounting, right? We can all read an accounting pronouncement and share the facts with the clients. We can all see that a desk is a desk. When it comes to hiring a professional, we create a compensation package, a start date, we put them on payroll, and then they become an employee on the roster. That little signal that arose inside of you when you were looking at all the resumes has moved up and has entered into a new reality inside of your organization. You got to stretch yourself here. You got to do some work. I want you to look at this and really think about a couple things. One is, I'm asking you to get into other levels of reality where you're not going to feel as strong, but you can get there. The other thing I want you to take from this imagery is to know that it's important that everyone has preferences. Some people are automatically going to go to their head, others are going to go to their heart, and then there are those who are like me, who self-identify as woo-woo and make swift business decisions based on what my gut has to say. All right? So given everything that we've talked about so far, I want to turn your attention to people advisory, the big opportunity in front of you to provide a career path at your firm for others that's going to be very magnetic and they want to stay in it, and also to deliver great places to work for your clients. So to be a people-focused advisor, keep in mind the following. You need to recognize that you have a preference inside of yourself. Ask yourself, what level of reality do I dwell in most often? The next thing to know is that others have their own preferences, right? So in my experience as coach, I've seen a lot of communication breakdowns happen when someone is an accountant and they're stuck in their head and they're trying to intellectually arm wrestle a dreamer or an intuitive. I'm an intuitive. When I make a choice, I make a choice. I decide, I decide. Even my 6-year-old has learned that. Mommy's decided. Okay, I'm not going to do anything else. But if you're trying to intellectually tell them something different, it's not going to go anywhere. Okay, so now that you understand a little bit more about the model and the 3 levels framework, I'm going to take you through the experience of coaching. And we're going to visit each of the 3 levels, starting with the essence level. And for this portion, I actually want you to close your eyes. And then I want you to take a few nice deep breaths, maybe like when you're doing the yoga. I find it helpful sometimes to even count. I know accountants like the numbers, so maybe count, inhale to 5, exhale it out. And I'm going to ask you a series of key questions. Because as coaches, we believe clients have their own answers. And the role of the coach is simply to create a space for the client's wisdom to emerge. And don't worry right now about taking notes. I know you're good students out there. I'm going to have a slide with all of these prompts you can look back to. So now that you're tuned into your inner knowing, just look around inside of yourself and see if any wild ideas come to mind. There might be something there. There might not be. I want you to hunt for possibilities, not probabilities. If something comes up and you don't know how you're going to get there, don't worry, we'll get to the how-to. I want the possibility. The more illogical the idea is, the better. Now, if you uncovered something, hold that thought. We're going to take it to the dreaming level. And if nothing emerged, that's okay. We're going to go to the dreaming level where we'll continue to draw things out of you. So the dreaming level. You can open your eyes if you want to. You can keep them closed, whatever serves you the most, now that you're a little more calm and grounded and in touch with you. Again, the dreaming level is 2-sided. There's high dreams and there's low dreams. The high side includes your highest hopes where anything is possible. So I'm going to ask you, what is your high dream for your life? If you had a magic wand and you could create anything, what would you create? And the next question is, what is your high dream for your career? What kind of money would you be making? What work would you do or not do? Are there clients you would work with more often? And are there clients that you would shift away from? Again, what is your ideal work? And the next and last question I have for you when it comes to the high dream is I want you to not just see a future, I actually want you to try and feel that future state of success. There's a song that I love. It's by a group called the Dirty Heads, and the title is Vacation. And the chorus says, "Hey, I'm on vacation every single day because I love my occupation." What would your life feel like if every day was vacation? How would that feel? All right, so hold that. We're going to come back to it in a minute. You can come back. And now we're going to transition to the low dream. Low dreams are rooted in fear. And I hate to tell you all this, but this is the second most common place I find accountants. This is the stereotypical accountant space where there's professional skepticism, conservatism, and expecting things to be Sally. Same as last year. Payroll compliance as we know it, a complex regulatory environment, wah, 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 that's all here to stay. So the question for you is, what is your low dream for your life and your work in a post-COVID world? Whatever post-COVID means to you. For some, it feels like lately I have to go back into the office every day. I don't want to do that. What are you scared of? What keeps you up at night? And finally, what would it feel like if all of your fears were your reality? Before I go to the next piece, I want to talk a little bit more about low dreams, because unfortunately, what makes us really good accountants, professional skepticism, planning for everything to go wrong, being super critical when we review things, looking for all the errors and pointing them out, are the worst things when it comes to being in relationship with people. There's research out there from a group called the Gottman Institute. They primarily do it around marriage relationships, but they talk about a 5-to-1 ratio. 5 positives to 1 negative. Honey, I love you. 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 Can you please do your dishes, right? 5-to-1. I know what it was like to be an accountant and turn in a tax return and feel so proud of myself. And I got it back and I had 30 things I did wrong and a token good job. Low dreams. It's not a good place to come from as a people leader. Okay, so now that you've envisioned your new reality, it's imperative that you design action to move your life forward. You can't just be in your instinct, hugging the tree and dreaming in your head. You do have to make some forward movement. And this step right here is critical, and it's one of the reasons that my coaching clients often say that coaching with me is more valuable than counseling or therapy or any mentoring that they've had, because mentors tell them what to do, coaches take things outside of them, and coaches also pair the big ideas with action, okay? So we're gonna design some action for you next. So before you jump into the doing, I want you to first get back in touch with that high dream and that feeling that you had where every single day you're on vacation because you love your occupation. What's going to support you in staying in that feeling and being in that high dream? Maybe it's an ally in your life, someone to support you, someone that's always a cheerleader and is positive and is a great person in your life, a coach, a mentor, a trusted person in your life. Maybe it's Gusto, their People Advisory Accelerator program. In coaching, we talk about you need a structure to support you to become what's next. Perhaps you might even want to self-authorize and do this yourself. Create a list of all your accomplishments and all of the things that you have done that make you uniquely qualified to take on whatever it is that you have for your high dream, for your life, and for your business. And then you want to ask yourself, and this is an important, nuanced ask here. The question is, if I took full responsibility for my high dream, I took the responsibility, rather than expecting others to own it, what is the one action to take? You taking the responsibility is key. I have tried, I shouldn't say I have tried, I've had clients try to convince me how hard the profession is, how complicated it is, the IRS is never gonna change, the rules are always hard, life is hard, my firm is hard, oh my gosh. You can never control the external environment that's going to be complicated. But what you can control is you. You've got to take responsibility for your dream. Now, I started our conversation with the promise of not only uncovering what's next for you, but also teaching you how you can empower others to do the same. Because ultimately, people-focused advisors take a professional coaching approach. That's what makes People Advisory so powerful. When your clients and your colleagues, people advisors do this, people-focused advisors do this. First off, they partner as dream makers. They can put their expertise on the shelf, go back to it if they need it, and they see the value of not knowing and being curious. What a mindset shift. I don't know. Usually it's, I have to know. The more I know, the more I build. The more I know, the more I build. How are you going to solve problems with clients? Problems that have never existed if you've already got your answer. Become curious. You also want to get out of your head and get into matters of the heart. You can hone this craft by not only mentally preparing for your meetings, whether it's a client meeting or a meeting with your team member, but emotionally preparing for these meetings. I'm also doing a lot of conversations and a lot of support in the profession right now around mental health. And when you want to help people through mental health or people-related challenges, you've got to be able to hold the space that when someone asks you something or someone shares something deep that you don't contract back because you're not practiced in the dialect of feelings. Feelings are okay. Feelings are good. We all have them, but can you open up and be in matters of the heart? The other thing is you're learning to tune out the external noise so that you can tune into your inner knowing. You start to see that self-awareness and intuition are beneficial skills that serve you and your clients. And finally, as you become what's next, you really inspire other people to do the same. Together, you move energy from the quantum level and you collectively dream up new possibilities, and ultimately, you're manifesting new realities. Now, as promised, here's a slide with questions you can ask people, because I know accountants love them a good how-to and following a step, so here's the steps. Don't worry, you got it. These questions and these prompts are just a starting point, but what they do is really help you get out of your head and tow your waters into the matters of the heart so that you can become a people-focused advisor. Now, thank you to everyone today for partnering with me in this coaching experience. It honestly does not feel like it was that long ago that I heard that inner voice whispering that weird thing to me to be a CPA that works with hearts and not numbers. It sounded weird then. It sounds weird saying it out loud today. But I gave myself permission to dream really big. And here we all are. I manifested you, but you also manifested this moment because you were curious about what's next. Now, if this session woke you up to possibility and you want to share your dreams, please do so in the chat. Because when you're sharing your dreams, the chat is a little bit of concrete reality, so you're moving it out there and you're announcing to the world who you're becoming. Thank you, everyone, and dream big.
Hey, I'm on vacation every single day 'cause I love my occupation.